This lesson, we're going to cover volume. And if you've done all of these lessons with me, you have almost finished geometry. You are so close, it is not even funny. And I am so proud of you for hanging in there. So let's talk about volume. Volume is how much something holds. And when we're talking about three-dimensional solids made up of polygons, it's the number of cubic units in something. So a square, remember, was square unit. So in the area of a square, we measured in square units. And that is how many littler squares or smaller squares that are 1 unit by 1 unit will something hold. So if we look at this, you could see right off that the area of this is 20. Base times height, 4 times 5, but it's 20 square units because each one of these has a dimension of 1 by 1. Each one of these is 1 square unit. Stack those together or lay them next to one another, translate them over so that they are adjacent, and you have a 5 by 4 rectangle, two-dimensional. Area is 20. Okay, well, when we talk about volume, it's that same concept, but now we're going to add thickness to it. So now the volume of something has not only a base and a height, but it has a thickness. So if this now was kind of like a Rubik's Cube, and we now said, hey, these are 1 thick, 1 tall, and 1 wide. Let's say that shape is 4 deep. Now you can see that that is made up of little cubes, and those little cubes are 1 unit thick. So this is kind of like a Rubik's Cube. If you took your Rubik's Cube apart because you couldn't solve it, which is what I did when I was younger, you would see that it was a whole bunch of little bitty cubes. And each little bitty cube in this drawing is 1 by 1 because we're talking about cubic units. So for volume, what we're figuring out is how many of these little cubes fit in something. That is 1 cubic unit right there. How many of those are in this large cube is the volume. How many are in that stack is what the volume is. Cubic unit. 1 cube, 1 unit in dimension. All you have to do is count those. So it's 5 by 4, 5 tall, 4 wide. How thick is it? Front to back is 4. So therefore the volume is 5 times 4 times 4, which equals 80. But in this one, let's just say these are in inches. Now we have a cubic unit. Over here, our area was inches squared on that front piece before we added the thickness to it. So this area was just this front face with no thickness whatsoever, just like a little piece of the paper. That was the area. So it was just a square. There was no volume to it because there was no thickness. It was flat. It had absolutely no measurement whatsoever. Thinner than a piece of paper. Okay, that's area. It's in square units. Volume is in cubic units. So volume has some formulas with it. We just did the volume of a rectangular prism, and that is length times width times height, or base times width times height. Picture how tall it is, how thick from front to back, and the distance from side to side. Now you have a volume of a cylinder that you can do. The volume of a cylinder, remember a cylinder is like a can. So there's the volume of, there's our cylinder. If we're looking at the volume of it, how many cubic units will fit in there? The volume is pi times r squared times the height. Pi r squared times the height is the volume of a cylinder. Well, we have the volume of a cone. So a cone would look something like this. Of course, it's three-dimensional, so it's got, a back side too, back there on it. This cone, the volume, we're not talking about surface area now, volume, 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. Just a matter of plugging in numbers to those formulas. And then we have the volume of a sphere. So the volume of this ball give it a little three-dimensional piece there. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times r cubed. 1/3 pi r squared h on your cone, but on a sphere, it is radius cubed, not radius squared. So this is something new. We've never had a radius cubed before. Okay. The last shape that we have a formula for the volume is that regular pyramid, or that rectangular pyramid that we keep drawing. Pyramid means you can hang a star on the top of it. So it must come to a point. Rectangular pyramid says the base of it is a rectangle. So it has lateral triangles for faces. And we've already found the area of those. We've done the surface area of this one, all that good stuff. So here is what a rectangular pyramid looks like. It's a pyramid because you can put a star on the top. It has a point like those Egyptian pyramids. And it has a formula for volume. Volume equals 1/3 times the base, capital B, base, that's the area of the base, times the height. When you have that capital B, it's the area of the base. So let's write that out. So when you look back at your notes later, you'll know 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. Now remember, the height is what's in the very middle. If you take a fishing line with a rock tied to the end and you drop that rock, don't let go of the fishing line, and you drop it straight down to the middle of that pyramid and you let it lie right on the center. That is your height. 1/3 the area of the base times the height. Okay? So that's volume. Really all you need are those formulas. Now let's look at some of the examples you're going to do on this homework, on this assignment. I shouldn't call it homework, on this assignment. And let's just try to do a few of the more difficult ones. I don't think we need to do any problems figuring out the area, or excuse me, the volume of a cube. That's length times width times height. And I'm quite confident that you can do that. I'm waiting for my worksheet to load on my computer. Let's look at, excuse me. Let's look at number 5. So number 5 is a hexagonal pyramid. So for number 5, it's the area of the base times the height. Okay, I changed my mind on that. I changed your worksheet because your worksheet had a lot more shapes on it. So we're not going to be referring to a hexagonal anything for volume. Instead, on your worksheet, we're going to refer to number 1. Number 1 is a sphere with radius 10. So number 1, you can see in the picture, is a sphere and the radius equals 10. So all you have to do is plug this in into your calculator. Use the formula 4/3 pi times r cubed. That's the exponent of 3. 4/3 pi r cubed. Well, the r is 10. So 4/3 times pi times 10 cubed. So let's just plug that into our calculator. N over d, 4 down, 3 to the right, times pi times r cubed. 10 up arrow. Let's get up here on the exponent and let's put the 3 in. That's our r cubed. Directional pad to the right will get you off the exponent line and hit enter. 4188.79. 4,188 0.79 is your final answer. And that is cubic units, whatever it's in. Okay? Easy peasy. Now, if we look at number 6, it is a square pyramid, and number 6, and we have a formula for that. So number 6 is a square pyramid, and the dimensions are 10 by 10, and the height is 9. So that one's an easy one. We have a square pyramid, height equals 9, and the base is 10 by 10. Well, the formula is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So the volume equals 1/3. The area of the base, the capital B, is 10 times 10 times 9. So that's 1/3 times 100 times 9. And if you put that in your calculator, you will get 300. And it's cubic whatever. Whatever units it is, you'll put the exponent of 3 on it to make it be cubic. So go ahead and put that into your calculator. See if you get the same answer. Now let's look at number 19. A cone with diameter 8 and a height of 9. So number 19 just gives you words. A cone with diameter 8 and a height of 19. I think it said centimeters. Let me go back and look. A cone with diameter 8 centimeters and a height of 9 centimeters, not 19. 9. So instead of giving you a picture, they've just given you some words. Well, we have the formula for the volume of a cone. It's 1/3 pi r squared h. So volume equals 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. Have they given you the radius? No. They gave you the diameter. So you're going to have to convert that. So it's 1/3 times 4 times r squared, 1/3 times pi times r squared. That's 4 times 4. You know what? If you don't want to do that in your head, just put 4 times 4 in there. Times your height, which is 9. Put all that in your calculator and you will have the volume on number 19. Okay? And that pretty much sums up the volume. I am going to remind you that you're going to upload a picture of your notes, handwritten notes, show all your work. You're going to draw the picture, you're going to write the formula out, all that good stuff. Any of these that give you trouble, you're going to use homework help. And then the last thing, put your multiple choice answers into the Google form. Okay, and I'll see you in the next lesson.